Everybody says the MetaQuest 3S is a budget headset, but after 30 days, here's the truth. Okay, I've actually had it for like 32 or 33 days, but it sounded better for the title to say 30. Thanks for understanding. First off, the build and comfort of the headset. The MetaQuest 3S has a pretty comfortable strap, especially compared to the strap on the 2-in-1. They're honestly not as comfortable. There's just something about it where they are better at distributing the weight as they improve their product. It makes the headset not feel heavy, if that makes any sense. Okay, now let's specifically talk about the weight. While I did say it does feel almost lighter or not as heavy, it is in fact 13 grams heavier. But there's a good reason for that. You are getting a better chip in the MetaQuest 3S compared to the 2. You're getting the Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 versus the Gen 1. You're getting a larger battery, full color pass-through, and much more. Next, let's talk about the face cushion and glasses compatibility. Personally, I wear glasses no matter what I'm doing, so even when I'm in VR, I have my glasses on. I want to make sure that it is comfortable and feels great. This might not be something everybody gets to test out, or something you might be concerned about if you want a VR. Let me tell you, I couldn't even tell. It wasn't pressing against my glasses awkwardly, and the face cushion was comfortable. It wasn't sweaty around the ring. It didn't feel weird. It felt good. It was like it was not even there. In fact, it seemed like I was in true reality. Now let's talk about the performance of the MetaQuest 3S. The resolution of the 3S is not the quality of the 3, but it is definitely good enough, and I mean that. This quality is better than a simple 1080p. In fact, there are 70% more pixels than 1080p per eye. Getting the 3S doesn't mean you're cutting out on quality. Even though the resolution isn't quite the number, it is still very good. For most games, the games seem pretty smooth. There doesn't seem to be latency. But I have one thing which is a minor bit of a latency that I'll talk about in the next section. The hand tracking without the controllers is honestly pretty good. There is one thing that I kind of want to complain about, but I don't think there's an easy way to change this. When I'm typing, unless I have something connected to my nerves, I don't think this is possible. But I can only type one key at a time, and it's decently slow. Currently, the virtual typing without any sort of controller doesn't seem very efficient, and I don't see how it could be improved, like something that another part of Meta is using. Even when I'm moving on the MetaQuest, it still seems that the screens are staying in the same spot. If I were to walk into another room and not carry the screen along with me that is virtually there, it seems to stay in the same place, which is really incredible. So the navigation and tracking is pretty solid. Next, let's talk about the gaming experience. While I have not played an excessive amount of games, the games I have played have been incredibly immersive and enjoyable. Games like Batman Arkham Shadow, Population 1, and AIM XR. Okay, now we're back to the part about latency. Again, it seems pretty smooth, but there are a whole bunch of other things you can compare and contrast when it comes to this. Latency could be because of your personal internet. Maybe you don't have good Wi-Fi at your house, but there is latency that I did in fact find. When I was doing 3D modeling in a software called Shapes XR, I found that there was a bit of lag. Sure, this was not a major thing, but if I was doing a bigger project, it could slow me down a lot, which it did even in my smaller project. Now let's talk about the battery. For most games, it gets the job done with about 2.5 hours of battery. In fact, you probably shouldn't use your VR for that long of a session, but in deep work, you might need more. While a few years ago, this may have been unreachable, this is in fact becoming something that we may end up using in our daily lives for work. I'm finding it that I can actually use it for different things, like I explained earlier, 3D modeling. Though when I was in that software, the battery seemed to only last for about an hour and a half, and I found myself plugging it in and trying to work at the same time. It was not the easiest. Again, the trekking reliability is pretty consistent and I think can be trusted. So who is this for? Well, everyone. Or no one? Okay, let's really talk about what groups this might help or what groups should use this. From beginners to professionals, I think this can be a lot of fun as a gamer, if you're a casual gamer or not. But besides gamers, there are other potentials even with the MetaQuest 3S. For example, some people might use it for a fitness routine, or perhaps you want to use it for work. Designers and engineers might find it helpful in 3D design. For the price, this headset goes way beyond. I would love to hear your thoughts on the MetaQuest 3S. Would you buy the 3S over another VR? Comment down below. And please, like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. See you guys on the next video.